good, Italian Job?
I'm feeling good, Tommy boy. It is a Friday afternoon, and it's approximately 81 degrees at my house in April. It was 90 earlier this week. So other than that, other than sweating my face off, I'm doing good, and I'm feeling good. But how about you, brother?
Yeah, same. It's been great. Super hot, super humid. It's starting to roll in. I think we have a little respite this evening with maybe some thunderstorms, but beyond that, here we are. I took it down to the rafters, as you can see on the YouTubes and the NGN TV network, which feels great. Don't have to worry too much about the humidity in that regard. But man, sweating buckets on Thursday morning, but it feels good, you know.
I mean, that's high and that's high and tight, like high and it's just tight all over.
It's wicked tight, like a frog's butthole, right? So. Saul Goodman. Well, hey, we got a fun show today. We're doing a nice mix and blend of F3 as well as not only turning new guys on to what we've got here that we're called to give away, but also for the guys who are heavily involved with F3 already and are seeking to elevate their region. We've got a great idea that focuses on April, but we don't want guys to get hung up on April. We want them to really think outside of 1 month and how they can connect with other men and bring them out to the F3 Nation. So why don't we bring on Pork Roll? Pork Roll, let's just jump right into it with a name-orama. F3 name, hospital name, all the fun stuff that you normally shout out. But let us know how you wound up with that role or that name when you're done.
Yeah, Brian Bradley, 43. Pork roll. So
So good. So good.
I'm from New Jersey. Bing, who wanted to say hello to both of you. He called out. First of all, he's the one that got me involved in F3 in the first place, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But he called out, "Oh, Jersey pork roll," and that just kind of stuck because it is a regional meat sandwich. And funny enough, I'm from South Jersey, so really pork roll. Technically, it's supposed to be Taylor ham. I didn't know anything about.
I was about to say that's a Taylor ham and cheese. I'm married to a South.
That's what I didn't know that was a thing because I'm from Philadelphia, really. So I'm a scrapple kind of guy. And now I've learned all about the pork roll Taylor ham thing, and I'm firmly in the pork roll camp now. So Taylor ham, not so much.
So let me ask you this: having spent the last 20 plus years with a Jersey girl, what exit?
So yeah, that's a really good question. Exit 4 off the turnpike, and I'm nowhere close to the Garden State Parkway, so I'm firmly exit 4 off of the turnpike. Yeah.
Yeah, well, a while back ago, I got a note actually, it was coasting through the SWT channel on Slack, stuff we're trying on Slack. And somebody threw out this really great idea. And the more I read through it, I like a good pun. And it was called April, right? The EHpril. So think about how the Canadians say A. The more I read, the more I enjoyed it because we here in Greensboro, North Carolina, we're also thinking about, hey, what can we do to entice more men? And on a previous show, Italian Job, you and I met up with a guy who had the back to school special, which is where they permeated neighborhood pages on Facebook and then jumped on Nextdoor. Their target was actually to communicate with the wives of men so that they would push those men out the door and say, you need to go find these guys because what they have going on is legit. And that was super successful for them and in turn for Greensboro. So we thought, what was next? Well, pork roll, not for nothing, but this is definitely something that we're going to try in the Greensboro region. So we wanted to bring you on and talk a little bit about the impetus, where it came from, how that planning looked, and why this is stuff worth trying. So we'll let you have the keys to the kingdom and take it away.
Sure. So the idea is actually two of ours. It's myself and then Pax Train. He's a little camera shy, so he didn't want to come on. Chili Pepper, who you may or may not know, he is, I think, the chief of International Pathfinder or something to that effect. He goes out and all over the world and, is trying to get F3 throughout the entire world, not just the nation. And him and his wife, his M, they went down to Cuba for Christmas. They have a mission. There's a small rural church down there. And so they were raising money for that church. And for every $100, he was going to ruck a mile. So at the end of his, donation gathering, he had 29 and a half miles to do. The northernmost AO in my region to my southernmost AO, he thought was 33 miles. And he said, oh, we'll do that. Ended up being 36 and a half miles, but that's another story. He's missing a couple of toenails. That's all right. Him and Cotter actually finished all 36 and a half. I had dedicated myself to 18. And my buddy Train, who came up with EHpril, him and I did about 15 together, and then he bugged off because he had other things to do. But during that 15 miles of him and I standing shoulder to shoulder and having conversations, we had both wanted to figure out how we could get some more FNGs into our region. Independently, we had thought of this, and then so we kind of merged those ideas together. He came up with the name, which I love the pun. He had a $50 Mud Gear gift card from something, and he had an F3 shirt that he wasn't wearing. And he said, "Oh, I'll give those as prizes." I said, "Great." Cotter, one of the guys who finished the actual 36 and a half miles, he runs a kettlebell workout every Friday, or not every Friday, but at one of our Friday AOs. And I said, "You know what? I'll get a 35-pound kettlebell to add to the prize package. We'll get a cinder block. We'll spray paint it with the F3 Suncoast logo." And then Train came up with the great idea halfway through this month to come up with a mystery box, which don't tell anybody. There's some pretty cool stuff in there. And so that's kind of where we're at. We have a prize package right now. We have a total of 6 FNGs. There was one this morning at our Bad Clown AO, and I have an FNG coming out. We have a really awesome rucking event, which I'd love to talk about a little bit. At the end of this month, I have an FNG coming to that, and I'm hoping that we get twice as many. So, I mean, 14, 15 FNGs by the end of the month would be phenomenal for our region.
So Tommy Boy, for those who are not up to speed on our nomenclature, on our lexicon, what is an FNG? What is a cotter? Kind of give everybody the rundown for our non F3 guys who are listening.
I was kind of hoping you would tell me. No, it's what I love. I love when you first start F3, and I'm always reminded of these instances when we talk about our acronyms and all our funny names, is getting into our lexicon on f3nation.com and never being able to find out one definition without having to go 2 or 3, sometimes 4 or 5 more definitions deeper, because other weird words are part of the first definition. So, quick smash course and what the hell we're talking about. An FNG is a friendly new guy, the guy who shows up for the first time at an F3 workout to get sharp and get better and get right with new men. An EH is the emotional headlock. And so that's what we apply to a guy who has piqued interest in what we're about. Maybe it's at the produce section in the grocery store. Maybe it's at the mechanic shop. Maybe it's crossing paths on the greenway in your neighborhood. Hey, I see you working out. You should come join us in what we do. It's free, right? So that's the emotional headlock, the EH, that's part of EHpril. And then you mentioned rucking. And just because rucking is on this, in our circle of friends, is on this meteoric rise, doesn't mean everybody knows. Rucking in its simplest form is putting on a backpack with some weight into it, generally 20, 30, 45 pounds, and going for a walk. And so I think that's wrapped everything up. Have I missed anything within this conversation?
No. We mentioned cinder block. That's exactly what it sounds like. It's your standard concrete masonry unit, your CMU. We also call it a coupon. It's about the cheapest way you're going to get 30 plus pounds without spending a bunch of money. You can spend less than $5 on one of these coupons. And so when we talk about a coupon or a block, that's what we're talking about. It's slinging that thing around like a kettlebell. Kettlebell is a weighted instrument of pain, so to speak. It's just literally, it's a handle, it's a weight with a handle on it. And those are our kettlebells. So now everybody's up to speed on our Cindy's, our coupons, our cinder blocks, our rucking, our FNGs, our EH. Those are all the words for the guys who are looking to become an FNG at your local AO, at a region close by, to come and join the men and build up some camaraderie. Now, before we get too deep into the challenge, Pork Roll, I feel like we cut you off. How did you get into to F3? What's kind of your story, or was now, so to speak? How long have you been in F3 and all that kind of good stuff?
Yeah, I moved down from New Jersey back in 2022 in June. But before that, I was on just a local Facebook page looking for I did martial arts up in New Jersey. So I was looking for a local martial arts gym. I ran a dad's group in New Jersey. We had about 1,700 members. And that was I was fearful that I was leaving all of these people. I had a huge friend group. So I went on the Facebook page and I said, "Hey, I'm looking for a martial arts group. I ran a dad's group, and maybe I'll start a dad's group." And so Bing, he didn't want me treading on his turf, I guess. He reached out to me and was like, "Hey, like, You don't need a martial arts group. You don't need a men's group. We got that for you. He sent me a link to f3suncoast.com. I checked it out, looked right up my alley. Came down here in June. August the 8th is my anniversary. I went there right, as soon as I was unpacked and kind of into the house, I went out there. It was a Saturday. They got me because I was never the kind of guy to wake up early in the morning. But Saturday is 7 o'clock. I could do 7 o'clock. So I get there at 7. Granted, he's not telling me the other workouts are 5:15. Oh, yeah, come Saturday. So, yeah. So I went there on Saturday. I brought my son. I have a 9-year-old son, 7 at the time. And I had an amazing time. It was so much fun. Bing actually turned out to be the cue that day, which was apropos, and it was just a blast. I fell in love with it legitimately. And then I said, "Hey, when's the next one?" And he said, "Monday at 5:15." And I said, "You will never see me at 5:15 in the morning." But I was there. I was there that Monday, and I haven't stopped. I mean, I'd have to look at the Pax Miner, but I couldn't even tell you how many posts, and I've been blessed with the opportunity to be the glue boy. I'm second FQ, which is a blessing. I'm so happy to have that opportunity to serve my men down here. I couldn't even tell you how many F3 guys I have on my phone that if I needed something, they'd be at my front door in 10 minutes. And so I don't need that dad's group. It's built in. And I have my fitness, just everything. This group is really everything to me. I don't know if you guys saw in the Nation channel a year or so ago, but I put an enormous F3 logo on the back of my Tesla, and it's got to be like this big. It's huge. And so that's my story.
Outstanding. Well, talk a little bit about what you have seen, because you're what, you're 20 days in almost into April, and the carrot's been dangled, as it were, with the prize package. Like you said, it's a sick prize package. I've seen it, and it would make anybody jealous. And it's the entire month, right? So it's all month long. These guys have an opportunity to grow the region as a whole. So everybody wins. But what have you been seeing specifically outside of just sheer numbers, whether it's energy related or whether it's a was now story or anything?
So I think if I were to learn a lesson for next year, we kind of came up with this last minute, and we really wanted to play on that pun. And so I didn't have a whole lot of time to advertise this. I feel like if I had a good month or two to really put it out there, we'd probably have a little more energy behind it. Right now, like I said, we only have 6. I would have hoped to have 12, 15, 20 by now. But I also understand very much that it's hard to get people to come out. I was out at a STEAM event at my son's elementary school last night. I met somebody. Obviously everybody I'm meeting, I'm EHing as best I can. Getting their phone numbers, texting them, "Hey, come on out." Honestly, I just wish I had more time. And next year, I will have more time. I'm going to start promoting this immediately. Like January 1st is going to be around and be like, "Hey, April's only a couple months away." And so, we'll figure out the next prize pack at that point in time. But I'm not completely disappointed with 6 at this point. I do think that we'll probably double it by the end of the month. But I'd love to see more. I'd love to see 20, 30 people in a month. And if people are kind of holding back in order to win the prize pack, I'm okay with that too. You do what you got to do. But if we could get 30, 40, 50 packs in a month, brand new, even if we only get 10 or 15% retention, that's fine. That's great.
Pork what's the reason that you want to get more guys out at F3? What is it that you see it's so important that another guy should have what you have? What is it about F3, and why are you trying to get more guys to join your local region?
It's the same reason that I started the dads group up in, I didn't know what to call it up there. I hadn't read Free to Lead. I didn't know anything about F3, but it's sad clown syndrome. There's just so many of us out there, so many men out there that don't have a friends group. They come home from work, they're tired, they sit on the couch after a long day, they crack open a beer, they watch some TV, probably whatever their wife wants to watch, because we all know how it is. So they're watching The Bachelor or something, and then they go to bed and they rinse and repeat. And if they're lucky on the weekends, they get to take their kid on a fishing trip, but they don't have any friends that they can call. If they need somebody to talk to, they don't have a shield lock. They don't have this influence of these high impact men that are everywhere around us, but we just have to gather and get them together. And for me, that's what F3 is. It's not just, fitness is obviously, it's our first core principle, right? But it's not, I'm the glue boy for a reason. Like, fellowship is everything for me. It's what F3 means to me at its core, is the fellowship of the other men.
Yeah, there's something pretty amazing that happens. the old adage, old in F3 terms, adage is that the workout's just the magnet. It's like the bait and switch because you come out, you work out, but then, as you just said, you realize that the real magic is within the relationships and the fellowship with other dudes, and then this opportunity kind of unfolds before you. And I think we're just now seeing this new surge in men that realize the power of the third F, with which we labeled faith, and we define as a commitment to something bigger than yourself, right? A belief and a service to something bigger than you, and that can be a whole lot of things. As long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody else, lean into it, man, and tackle the day. And I'm excited each time I hear that somebody else has discovered a new way to live into that third F component, because it just means that everyone in their circle of influence is going to accelerate and get better and find new opportunity. The fact that we don't have a hard line definition for that third F is probably the secret, and I'm using air quotes, sauce to everything that we do, because you find a need and you fill a need. And if you don't know how you can do it by yourself, to your point, pork roll, you don't have to, because you're surrounded by a bunch of high impact dudes that want to go out and make it a better place for more than just themselves and their family, but as many people as they can reach. It's a powerful thing that is almost impossible to measure unless you're raising money or tracking miles or something, but the lives touched really makes a huge difference.
Speaking of tracking miles, do you have a team for the Cleveland, or is it Cleveland, the May Challenge? That's Cleveland region, right? Are you
I'm
guys
not
not on a
one.
team?
Not this
Really?
year. Not this year.
No, I've got we're logging up for all the future CSOPs that are up and coming. I've actually got my eyes on 50 in October, 50 rucking miles, but that might become 100. So we'll see. I've done 45 before, so I feel like if I do 50, all I've done is 45 and then a lap around the neighborhood. All, again, air quotes, all I've done. But to tackle a hundo might be my thing this year. So can I pocket those miles until next year's challenge?
No.
It's worth asking. Asking for a friend.
Non-transferable. These coupons don't carry over.
How are you supposed to beat my team if you don't have one? You got to get a team.
All right. You've twisted my arm.
Yes. Now you just need two more.
Tommy boy, you and I. Let's make it so. Let's make it happen.
That's how it works, folks. See, we talked about the emotional headlock. This is it. You're a guest on somebody else's podcast, and then you EH them to sign up for a mile challenge. So here we go. And you're talking to a guy in me that hates to run. So
you don't have to just run. There's Merkins, there's curls, there's pull-ups if you can do them, which I can.
I feel like I'm on so many challenges. It's so funny that I've got so many spreadsheets I jump in between every morning. It's like, all right, where's the Merkin spreadsheet? Where's the GTE trainer spreadsheet? And then everybody comes looking for your data. I'm like, I don't know. I can tell you that I had to call for help to get off the toilet this morning, if that tells you how many squats I've done this month. So it's good times. Well, let's do this as we kind of land the plane, pork roll. First, I'm going to hand the mic back over to you so you can talk a little bit about the rucking challenge you guys have brewing, but then also ended up with why this April challenge, regardless of the month, of getting new guys out to a region is stuff worth trying. And if you want to do it in the flip-flop order, that's fine too, man. It's all you.
Yeah, so we'll do flip-flop order. Again, I really think that it's important for us to, obviously people in F3, just like anywhere else in life, they're going to come and go. And so numbers fluctuate, right? And any given week or month, Suncoast has probably 100 packs that are consistent, but that's going to flow, right? Maybe 20 leave to do and 20 come and so on and so forth. But the more we can build those numbers and the more we can increase the number of AOs, the more people, the more fellowship, just the more sad clowns that can turn into high impact men. And for me, that's what April is all about, is sharing this amazing gift that was given to all of us, which is F3. So that's what April, EHpril, means to me. As for the rucking event, it's called Mysterio. This is our third event. If you guys are anywhere near Florida or in Florida, rucksack or not, I don't care if you fill up a book bag full of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Just come out. have an amazing time. Think of like an escape room. I did air quotes now, but on the beach, you're going to get wet. You're going to get sandy. It's not a grow ruck, so there's no telephone poles, but there's definitely a physical challenge. There's a mental challenge. And with me in charge, I promise there's going to be a lot of laughs. So if you have the opportunity, it's just a week away. It's April 27th. It's on Anna Marie Island. Write f3porkroll@gmail.com or find me on the Nation Slack. I'm there. You have to come to the event. It's going to be amazing. Exactly. Thank you, guys.
That's it. That's it. Pecan Sandies, boys. Uh, Pork Roll, you're definitely a self-influenced type, man. I love it, dude. Nothing draws a crowd like a crowd. So thanks for bringing the heat, and for being a sunshine bazooka. That really matters as a second FQ.
Ooh, I haven't heard that term. I like that.
Well, you're
Sunshine
welcome.
bazooka.
It's
Thank you.
yours.
I will use that.
Yeah, it's yours to give away, my friend. Italian Job. I've been following you on Twitter. You've got a lot of nuggets out there worth sharing. Do you have a favorite this week that you want to give away?
Oh, I don't know, man. Let me scroll through and find something. Let's go with, yeah, I mean, well, I always have something. Let's go with this. Some leaders set, and I say, we keep using quotations, so I'll say some leaders, all right, in quotation, some leaders set a vision and then they walk away. But the best leaders work with their teams and find solutions to implement that vision. The smartest people I know ask questions and seek advice from the experts. They realize that we are better together. So when I think of things like EH, when we start talking about an EH challenge, bringing guys in, the goal here is not, I've got a great idea, somebody go do something with it. The goal is, I've got a great idea, now let's figure out how to do this thing together. You've got to have a mission and you've got to have some kind of a goal to reach. But also it's going to require work. And sometimes that work is difficult. And sometimes it's dangerous. Sometimes it's dirty. It's the things that it's outside of your comfort zone. It's very easy for us to go to the same restaurants on Friday night, to maybe go to the same worship service each week, whatever you believe in, or to only hang out with the same people that live in your neighborhood. But when you're surrounding yourself with the same group of people and doing the same things over and over again, that's comfortable, you're missing out on so much more. So an EH challenge like this, reaching out to other men and bringing them in, not only are you, like I like to say all the time, we're just beggars showing another beggar where to find bread. Not only am I showing you something that's amazing, I guarantee you're going to learn something from that guy. He's got something to share with you. And so by sharing your stories, sharing life beside each other, you're going to get better. They are going to get better. Nothing bad happens from having conversation with somebody. Sometimes it's just a smile. Sometimes it's a fart joke. Sometimes whatever it is to just lighten the mood and lighten the day. I've got a lot of heavy crap going on at work. And this morning I got to hang out with my buddies. It was like hanging out in middle school with my friends, and it set the course for my whole day. I was stuck in meetings, non-productive work meetings most of the day, but this morning set the path. Great conversation. Just living life with other guys has completely changed my life. And I encourage you, if you're not part of a group of men, find f3nation.com, find a location closest to you. If there's not one, reach out to Italian Job at f3nation.com or Tommy Boy at f3nation.com. We will get something in your neighborhood close to you, because this is more than a workout group. So Tommy Boy, I'm going to toss it to you and say, why does this matter? Why are we talking with Pork Roll about an EH challenge? Why does it matter to you? Why should it matter to everybody else?
Yeah, you said it best, and I can really combine what you and Pork Roll have said. You need to be in fellowship, period. It's not about living life by yourself. When you remember what it's like to be out with your friends, your trajectory and your perspective completely shift, and you have purpose again. And your purpose is not your job, right? That's a part of who you are, but it's not all of who you are. And I'll put it this way. It's the old saying, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go alone. And this life is meant to be lived out as far as you can, because you have a legacy to leave behind. And that legacy, by my measurement, it should be a legacy of virtue, right? So that's why this matters. Pork Roll, tip of the cap to you, my friend. Finding your way from Jersey down south, not forgetting where you came from, keeping the dream alive up in Jersey. We'll have to go up there sometime and hit Red Bank and maybe go say hi to Kevin Smith at the Secret Stash. Until then, everybody who's tuning in, we appreciate you. If you have a show idea, let us know. We are at F3SWT on Twitter. You can find us on Slack channels. You've got our emails. Until we see you again, be good or be good at it.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks so much.